Welcome. My name is Grandma Storm. I write stories for young adults. Today I am reading chapters 21 through 25 in my book, 146 BC. Chapter 21. But you just came home. I beg you, Barak, do not go to Carthage. I understand the Romans have blockaded the port. It is bad enough that your father is there. I am confident he will escape. Wait until he returns. Let him learn of the loss of Malchus here. Naomi stood before her son. She was a tall woman, lean of form, athletic of build. Her black hair was tied in a knot. Her body was clothed in blue silk. The features of her face were even and regal. Mother, as much as I want to, as much as I think you are right, still I believe my duty lies in Carthage and reporting to Hasdrubal. Now more than ever, Carthage needs my allegiance. Hasdrubal, do not start me on that snake. I hold him responsible for the death of your brother. Kill the heir and take the land. I never thought his scheme to send you and Malchus to the northern seas was anything but a way to line his pockets. He is not a patriot. He only thinks of his own interests. Rome cuts our ports to nothing, argued Barak. Carthage cannot breathe without trade. Hasdrubal charged Malchus and me to find new trading partners. Is that not the work of a patriot? Does that not defy Rome? All was going well until that mutinous crew turned on us. A snake, I tell you. Who picked that crew? You? Malchus? No, Hasdrubal. He knows trade to the barbarian north is worthless. What profit is there in cold? Snake, I tell you. Mother, even this distance from Carthage, it is not wise to speak so of a member of the Council of Elders. What can he do to me, a woman? A powerful man does what he wants. Naomi walked to the portico overlooking the harbor to the estate. She watched the warship as the crew heeded the orders of her captain. Turning to her son, she murmured, Barak, I beg you, tarry. You are now my only son. Wait for your father. Barak turned and walked out of the room. Chapter 22. The sun and I greet you, Hercules, said Rin, as she carried a tray of bread and fruit into his quarters. He sat at his desk, grunted in acknowledgement, and returned to his writing. Fetch me more papyrus. Rin ran to do his bidding. As she passed an archway overlooking the water, she was surprised to see the Queen Karim was no longer in the harbor. There it had rested ever since she had come to the estate. The weeks had passed as she became used to her duties. The sight of the ship in the harbor was like a fixture in the sea. Returning with the papyrus, Rin mentioned, The ship is gone. I know. Lord Senatus has not returned. No news comes from Carthage. Lord Barak grew restless. Against the wishes of his mother and me, his old tutor, he decided to sail with the ship. I suppose he thinks to break the blockade all by himself. I begged him, but then, what does an old man know? Why, you know so much, exclaimed Rin. Haven't you helped me speak Punic so much better than Nicosi? Haven't you taught me letters? Haven't you taught me numbers? Haven't you told me stories of the world I never knew? I would listen to you, Hercules. You are like Mim, the god of wisdom. The old man lifted his eyes from his work, motioned for Rin to sit, and said, Tell me about this Mim. Rin recited the old tale told by the fires at home in winter time of Mim. He was renowned for his wisdom and knowledge, but was beheaded during a terrible war. Afterward, the god Odin carried Mim's head about because it would recite secret knowledge and give him wise counsel. Ha! Laughed the old Greek. That is me, a talking head. Yet, unlike Mim, I still carry my head on my own shoulders, but just barely. My legs grow weaker by the day. As the seasons pass, the strength fades from my body. When my tongue no longer works, then I will be in trouble. Remember our bargain? I told you a new story. Now you must teach me something. I have not forgotten, laughed Hercules. Shall we practice reading? Or would you rather learn more songs? Reading, please. Actually, a thought occurs to me. Let us work on capturing the sounds of your native tongue in writing. That way we can write your stories in the language of the far north. That would be a unique addition to the knowledge of the world. How would we do that? Speak slowly, not singing, the words to one of your songs. When you make a sound not represented in the Greek alphabet, I will create a symbol for it. The pair were engrossed in their work and did not notice the entrance of a red-haired man. Milkar stood on the deck of the Queen Karim, Barak by his side. Nkosi leaned against the gunwale, watching the villa at Garmouth fade into the mist. A splash caught his ear. He looked over the side to see a red head bob to the surface. A slave was escaping. Nkosi eyed the distance to the shore. No man could swim that far. He yawned. The sea would take their runaway. No sense wasting an arrow or disturbing the counsels of his master. My father has not returned, sighed Barak. No ships come to our harbor. No news arrives. I know. I tired of waiting as well, responded Milkar. The crew grew restless. Men need action. Either for good or for ill, we will test the waters of Carthage. If we can run the blockade, we will bring fresh hope to the city, not to mention fresh supplies. Just think of the profit. This ship is in violation of the treaty with Rome. The hell with it. My feelings exactly. The men retired to Milkar's cabin. Nkosi stretched his lean body on the deck of the ship, pillowed his head on his master's shield, and went to sleep. Chapter 23. Stop it, shouted Rin in her native tongue. Are you insane? The red-haired man clutched Hercules by the throat. Rin beat him with her fists. Torn let him go. Startled by the sound of his name, Torn released the old Greek and yelled at Rin. Get me food. I am starved. Friend of yours? Gurgled Hercules in Punic as he struggled to breathe. No, answered Rin in the same language. He is a slave from the ship. He says he is starving. Well, coughed Hercules, let us feed the beast. Sit, ordered Rin, and I will get you food. Rin hurried from the room, fetched a loaf of bread and a jug of wine. She returned to find Hercules watching the runaway warily as the galley slave sat before him. Give him the bread, said Hercules, and bring me the wine. While Torn bolted the bread, Hercules slipped something into the jug. Give it to him, ordered the Greek. I suggest we allow the drink to tame him. As Torn guzzled the wine, a puzzled expression came to his face. Standing on shaky legs, he tried to run at the old man. All he could manage was to stumble forward. Hercules picked up his walking stick and poked Torn in the chest. Torn fell, splayed at the old man's feet. Go fetch a few of the men servants, ordered Hercules to Rin. I believe my collection of anthropological specimens is about to have a new edition. Waking with a pounding headache, Torn raised himself on his elbows. That is when he discovered he was chained to a wall and shackled at the ankles. Waking up? Torn turned at the voice and saw Rin standing outside the room. I came by to check on you a few times. Each time I found you snoring louder than the time before. Get me out of here. Why should I do that? You tried to hurt an old man. He is a Carthaginian. No, he isn't. He is a Greek. What is a Greek? Actually, I don't know. You are an idiot. I don't think so. I'm not the one chained to a wall. Hercules walked into the room and sat on a bench out of range of the shackled slave. Rin, I want you to talk to our guest. Have him tell us his story. Let me know if you think he is lying. Also, tell him if he keeps me amused, I won't send him to the slave market. Yet. Rin relayed the message. Torn spat and turned to the wall. Also, continued Hercules, no story, no water. Rin dutifully translated. Torn remained silent. Come, Rin, we have work to do. I want to capture more of your language in my book. We will let thirst conquer our friend. 2 days later, Torn told his story. Chapter 24. The sun was setting as Nicosi yelled, Look, Lord Barak, there is Carthage. Yes, I see it, Nicosi. I also see Roman triremes. Too many. Let us hope we make the harbor before those buzzards spot us. It was not to be. Despite the darkening sky and gray clouds, the silhouette of the quinquereme was seen by the enemy. Chase ensued, with the Roman ships pestering the Carthaginian vessel with strings of flaming arrows like hornets pestering a bull. Time and time again, the Roman ships attempted to maneuver their ship's crow, a type of bridge, to board their ship. Milkar's skillful commands and bold actions sank many Roman ships with the use of his ship's ram. But Milkar was outnumbered. The winds, too, favored the ships of Rome. Their smaller size proved to be more maneuverable than the lone Carthaginian vessel of war. Each fresh attempt by the Romans to board his ship was harder for the Milkar to defend. Finally, Nicosi and Barak stood back to back in the black night. Their swords were drawn, their shields raised. Milkar twisted in a pool of blood at their feet, 3 arrows piercing his chest. A hail of arrows rained around them as a Roman trireme crashed into the Carthaginian ship. Engaging its crow, the decks of the 2 ships were joined. The tactics of a sea battle were suddenly changed to the tactics of a land battle. Rally to me, yelled Barak to the officers. Nicosi, burn the crow. The Romans, ignoring the slave, climbed the crow and concentrated their attack on the knot of armed men. Slashing, cutting, spearing the legionnaires as they boarded the quinquereme, the small band of Carthaginians held the deck. Nicosi hauled a tub of pitch to the crow, while Barak hacked the attackers with his sword. Nicosi spilled the contents with it and lit it with a torch. Flames rolled down the crow into the Roman trireme. Get the crow off the deck, bellowed Barak. Men dropped their swords, bent their backs under the flaming bridge, lifted it and dropped it onto the deck of the Roman ship. "Engage the oars! Shove away!" roared Barak. Screams from below deck and the listing of the ship revealed the Roman trireme's battering ram had cracked the larger ship's timbers below the waterline. Flaming arrows shot from the Roman ship, pierced the Carthaginian sails. The Roman ship managed to smother the flames on the Crow and pulled away. The Roman legionnaires watched with satisfaction as the Carthaginian Quinquereme was swallowed by the sea. Chapter 25. Torn guzzled the water and eyed the tray of bread and dates placed out of his reach. "Rin says you are ready to talk," commented Hercules as Rin translated. Torn lifted his eyes to the girl and began his tale. "I was my father's favorite, he the noble chief of our clan. We hunted as brothers, my father and I, always bringing the best meat to the hall. We sailed and raided enemies, fighting side by side, gaining honor and wealth for our people. My older brother stayed by the fire, as soft as a woman. He was weak in the hunt. He was weak at the oar. He was weak in the fight. Yet he was to be chief. The ancient customs of our people demanded this. My father looked with pride upon me, but despaired of Fligar. That is the cursed name of the serpent that sold me to be a slave. The ashes of our father's funeral pyre were still hot when a ship happened upon our hall by the sea. The strangers wanted trade. They needed a strong back for their oars. They needed provisions for their crew. Fligar tricked me. He sold me for a barrel of wine and a bundle of cloth." Their narrative paused as Torn eyed the bread and figs. "Carthaginians bought me. They chained me to an oar and whipped me. Let them whip me to death, I thought. But then I thought of Fligar. Hate gave me the will to live. I took up the oar, but only to live for revenge. Some day I will return. I will kill him. He is no brother. He is not worthy of our great hall or our noble ancestors." "Give him the tray," said Hercules to Rin as she translated Torn's story. "Our wild man has sung for his supper." Thank you for listening. To hear more of the story, please come back soon, or you may purchase your own copy on Amazon. Just follow the link below. Until next time.